Episode 6 of The Acolyte sure was something. I don't even know, man. Like, I've seen a bunch of reviews, and, well, outside of it just being completely and totally boring, not really feeding into the overlying plot and story of the very short season. I only got 2 more episodes of, I don't know how long in runtime we're going to be getting, but this one could be the dumbest, okay? And I think a lot of people are going to focus in on that because there was no fancy lightsaber battles, but there was the lightsaber whip that makes 0 sense at all whatsoever. A lot of people now in their reviews are really focusing in on just how abysmal the writing on this show is. That's what I'd like to focus in on too, because we know what the show was ultimately focusing in on, okay? One of the biggest takeaways of episode 6 was, well, this scene. Okay, I don't really need any audio for this one. We could just go ahead and play the video this time around. And as you can see, oh, by the way, just to go ahead and catch you up on this, we have Osha, who's now cosplaying as May, but she doesn't have the dreads anymore because May cut them off with the lightsaber during that cringe sequence in the previous episode. But she's out there and she ended up getting on a ship with Smilo Ren, so she's pretending to be with it's very, very silly. But anyways, they all just ended up on this planet that had a little grotto that Manny Jacinto's Qimir could go ahead and strip down naked and take a bath in. It's like, we really needed that in our Star Wars show that is supposed to be for children. Okay, so yeah, she's gonna go ahead after watching him get naked, and as you can see, oh, you might be able to see the subtitles, but I'll go ahead and read them. Yeah, I'd like to put my clothes back on. So yeah, it's just confirming that, okay, even though it didn't show you butt cheeks, the dude's butt-ass naked. This is supposed to be a show for kids, right? Star Wars is supposed to be a story about space wizards intended for children. Okay, all right. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put my clothes back on, and then as you can see, as it progresses, he's getting out, okay? And she's, instead of, you know, going after the guy who she's seen, okay? The guy who she's seen murder a whole bunch of her friends, okay? Single-handedly wipe out how many Jedi, okay? She's not trying to get the hop on this guy to either neutralize or kill him. No. She just wants to see him walk out of the water, and we're not done quite yet, okay? Because as, yeah, he gets closer, if you're, wondering if it's honorable to kill me this way, and then, yeah, you could see, okay, he's walking, you know, apparently dong out, right? Because, well, he's naked, needs his clothes, right? And what does she end up doing? Giving him the old up and down. It stares right at his lightsaber, okay? What is this hoopy fruit doing, okay? So this totally makes sense. The Acolyte showrunner Leslye Headland teases a Reylo-style romance between Osha and Qimir. I want to die. I was sent one fanfic. I was absolutely surprised at how prescient it was. This is a writer, by the way. This is a writer on a show that cost $180 million. $180 million for this nonsense. And a fanfic writer called it out. What are we doing? What the hell is going on? According to the Acolyte showrunner, Leslye Headland, despite being clearly introduced as enemies, they may end up being more than friendly, bent to relationship between series protagonist Osha and newly revealed villain Qimir. Well, yeah, of course, because he put a blanket on her, and that's fine. He looked after her. But to be completely honest, man, for as many inconsistencies and contrivances that so many talented reviewers have pointed out, this right here is probably actually the most accurate thing, okay? Like, if she's going to have eyes for the bad guy, you know, the women love the bad guy, and shout out to Rollo Tomasi and the Rational Male, you know, the War Brides, saying, okay, she's going to bring a date to your funeral, so if you think she's going to have some reverence for all of her dead friends, brother, that's not female nature at all. So yeah, as Gary pointed out, as we used the clip that he tweeted out, okay, write what you know, and Leslye Headland really knows females, so yeah, inadvertently slipped in something incredibly based right there. Headland revealed this detail while speaking to Inverse's Livy Scott following the deadly events of the series' 5th episode, Night. At one point during the conversation, the showrunner was asked by Scott, in light to the two characters' brief interactions at the end of the episode, the internet is quietly shipping Osha and Qimir. I hate shippers more than I hate Al-Qaeda. What can we expect from the relationship now that they're struck together? You know, after Osha was supposed to have a relationship with Jackie, and that was supposed to go somewhere. Who's Jackie? Yeah, exactly. In turn, Headland coyly dodged. How do I answer that? Well, for the press by Scott, are you into the good girl, bad guy pairing? Good girl. Is that the way that you, outside of her just being the protagonist in the show, okay, outside of the meta trappings of that, what has made her the good guy? She's nice to a droid? I don't get it. Okay, but all right. Showrunner first affirmed, right, her love of the enemies to love dynamic before clarifying that in terms of Osha and Qimir. I don't even think this is a good girl against a bad guy, right? Because this is supposed to be a deconstruction of the Jedi, because it's so cool to go, hey guys, did you know that maybe the Jedi aren't the good ones after all? And maybe it's from a certain perspective, or from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. What a revolutionary take 20 years on. I think it's more like, okay, I'll put it this way. I always really loved the line in A New Hope when Obi-Wan says Vader was seduced by the dark side. Always loved that word, seduced. Oh my god. Go ahead. If there's anybody defending this schlock moving forward and simply saying, oh, who cares? It's not intended for you. This is a show that's intended for children. Talk about how often this hack references seduction and, oh yeah, point out dongs out for Smilo, okay? I'm sorry. I can always say that I was sent this one fanfic, which I'm really glad has already started, and I was absolutely surprised at how prescient it was. But yeah, that tells you everything that you need to know, and shout out to Paul Chato, who actually commented on the video that I made about the Acolyte and referenced his comments, so shout out to Paul. Now, he called out that, yeah, women need to stop making Star Wars. I took it a step further and saying, yeah, the women and feminized men need to stop making Star Wars. It's all along the same lines, because outside of a few rare exceptions in entertainment, Leslye Headland's tact to writing is generally how women are going to write. It works for certain genres. It doesn't work in fantasy. It doesn't work in sci-fi. It doesn't work in action. They write what they know. There's nothing inherently wrong with that when it comes to writers, as long as you're using personal experiences to inform certain characters that are in that certain world. Chicks like Headland are trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Then again, she doesn't like anything stuck into a round hole. Unless, of course, it's vinyl and made by Bad Dragon. But in speaking to the bastion of entertainment journalism, Salon.com, the Acolyte proved what female fans knew all along: the powerful sex appeal of the dark side. You know who generally writes fanfics? You know where the term Mary Sue actually came from? It was from Star Trek fanfic artists, okay? Who put self-inserts into stories, make them the most likable, charismatic characters in whatever scene they inserted themselves in. And it was normally all wrapped around romance with a lead character. I think like one of the most prominent examples, it could have been Patient Zero, or at least it's often referenced as. It's a Star Trek The Next Generation fanfic where the author writes herself into the story and romances Picard. And that's what we're getting right here with The Acolyte, where you have Leslye Headland, who has talked about it ad nauseum, that The Acolyte is the story about the falling out that she had with her sister, and she wanted to shoehorn that into Star Wars. And what ends up happening at the end of it? Oh, right, there's a whole bunch of romances that end up falling apart and get teased because that's what they care about. And that's why Star Wars is in the shape that it's in. Because Star Wars fans don't care about this stuff. Look at the ratings. Nobody cares about this stuff. 6 people care about this stuff. And they're all in Leslye Headland's orbit. No, I'm not just talking about the girth in her head. Let's read a little bit of this because there's only so much brain cancer I can tolerate. The dark side of the Force has never been more violent or compelling than in the Star Wars latest series, The Acolyte. More violent? I'm sorry, Mustafar would like a word with you. And compelling? Come on. June 25th episode Night, it's revealed that goofy apothecary Qimir is in fact a Sith Lord Master. Oh my god, big shock on that one. Known as the Stranger. Great name. Who's been secretly training assassin and acolyte Mayan Asanya Amandla Stenberg for several years. In a shocking sequence, Qimir brutally kills several Jedi, including stabbing one multiple times in the chest and snapping the neck of another, force pulling other ones into a lightsaber, and then not having to worry about the sword-wielding prowess of other Jedis because they're never aiming at him to begin with. What's been equally surprising are the reactions to Jacinto's portrayal of the Stranger. Yeah, he's actually a decent actor. That's what people are pointing out. It's like, oh, he's actually probably the best English-speaking actor that's on the show. Not reason enough to watch the show, but hey, if you're reviewing it or paying attention to it, he's not bad. But no, that's not what we're talking about here. How fuckable is he? That's what we need to know. Or more specifically, how attractive his Sith Master alter ego is, hey, we don't even know if he's a Sith master. Hell, we don't even know if he's a Sith, because Sith is apparently a slur, and it's only what Jedis would call him. I now understand what the Kylo Ren girlies were on. This is my Kylo Ren. This is my Adam Driver. Holy shit, bro. Similar reactions to the stranger swept the internet, commenting not only on his looks, but also on his smirking, nonchalant response to murdering some of the main Jedi characters, intrigued and horrified in equal measure by how callous he is. People who hadn't been turning into the Acolyte or weren't fans of Star Wars, there it is, suddenly expressed interest in the show, seeing GIFs of and fan edits of the big identity reveal like this one. These are the fans that Disney want. When they're talking about how, Star Wars fans are the real problem, okay, that all of those white males that found the series to be engaging in the 70s and 80s, okay, they're the real problem. This is the audience that they want. This is the audience that Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm, Disney, Leslye Headland, whoever you want to go ahead and point at, this is who they want. They want the shippers. This is why they always throw that out there, okay? Make vague allusions to relationships, because they want more theory crafting than people actually engaging. Because, yeah, if you wanted to set up a relationship, you probably could. Just peek back to that much derided OT, and you could go ahead and point to Han and Leia kicking everything off in Empire, and then sealing the deal towards the end of that and driving it home in Return of the Jedi, okay? They've done this stuff before to great success, in fact, instead of just going, oh wow, Manny really worked out for that one, and Osha sure looks stupid putting on the Smilo Ren helmet. I mean, Disney, there's a reason that nobody's watching this show. There's a reason you haven't put a Star Wars movie in theaters in going on 5 years, and by the time that we ultimately see one, probably closer to 7 when it's all said and done, because you're writing hack material for a hack audience that doesn't really care about your show to begin with. All they do is care about what makes their junk tingle, and if that's what you want, guess what? That's what you got, and guess what? It also ain't popular or profitable. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.